Hi, and welcome to another episode of Hot Takes with me, the Silver Fox. Saturday was International Holocaust Memorial Day, and that's where politicians all across the globe make a point of seeming virtuous and saying and doing things in memory of the terrible events of the Second World War and the ultimate destruction of basically 6 million Jews, but other people as well. The gays, the gypsies, criminals, the mentally unstable, all sorts of people. And, of course, Humza, as a good little politician, has to do his bit. And so, to be seen in the light that he's almost a human being, he makes a little video and shows his deep, concerning face. He puts that little deep, concerning face on that he does, that always looks like he's gambled on a fart and lost. And he makes this speech, and he talks about division and hatred and how it's a terrible thing, and blathers on for about 2 minutes. And I will put a link to it down. I'll pin it in the pinned comments. So the first comment below will be pinned. That'll be the link. You can go and watch it if you feel particularly masochistic today. But in that speech, where he talks about all this blather, he doesn't once mention one particular group of people. Do you know who they are? I think you can guess. Let's take a look. Scotland's First Minister, anti-Semitic and Jew-hating First Minister Muslim that he is, was blasted by historian Simon Sharma for a staggeringly offensive Holocaust clip that ignores Jews. Now, of course, Humza is a Muslim. They don't like the Jews. He can't even say the word. It's like bitter ashes in his mouth to say the word Jew. And, of course, it was his lot that launched from Gaza into Israel back on October the 7th. They were the ones that did that. They were the baby murderers. They were the ones that are now crying, oh dear, look what Israel are doing to us after we went in and murdered their children. Well, no sympathy there. But you'd think on a day when he's talking about tolerance and differences and not wanting hate, which is a very ironic thing to be talking about from him, that he would have at least acknowledged who the main victims were during the Holocaust. But the words could not leave his mouth. And I've watched the clip, I've watched his speech, and it is truly awful. It is screaming loudly anti-Semitism by the very fact that he cannot say the word. He does not. He skirts around it. He says everything other than how terrible it was that Jews were murdered like this, because of course he comes from a particular group that were quite happy with it. They aided, of course, the National Socialists during the war, his particular group. And I'm not talking about the SNP. I'm talking about the other group that he's a member of. Of course, the SNP were very pro-National Socialists during the war as well. So it's a double whammy, isn't it, for him, being member of two groups that don't like Jews and are very pro-National Socialism. You know, no wonder he can't say the word Jew. The TV presenter, Simon Sharma, responded to the First Minister's statement by saying his people had been subjected to a second disappearance, which was exactly what the Reich had in mind. I watched Simon Sharma's History of Britain and I found it to be absolutely fantastic. Brilliant show. If ever you get a chance to watch it, it is really good. Anyway, Humza has been branded staggeringly offensive after he issued a video message to mark International Holocaust Day without mentioning Jews. The First Minister's official X account posted the clip on Saturday, January the 27th, the anniversary of the liberation of Auschwitz. The term Holocaust is used to describe the extermination of European Jews by the Nazis between 1941 and 45. Over 6 million were murdered through the mass shootings and poison gas in extermination camps, although the word is also sometimes used in a broader sense to include others targeted by Hitler and his evil regime. Mr. Yousaf failed to use the word Jew in his address. This is something that left Sharma, 78, furious. And the TV presenter, whose Jewish mother and father fled Europe for the UK due to try and escape the Nazis, responded to the clip saying, staggeringly offensive or pathetically terrified of using the word. Not enough that millions of our people perished, now we've been subjected to a second disappearance. It's exactly what the Reich had in mind. And of course, it's exactly with the thinking of Humza Yousaf. He is very pro that kind of thing. He hates Jews. He does not like Jewish people. He, being a member of that particular gang, finds them offensive, finds their very existence offensive. And of course, that's why he can't let the words come out. The word won't even form in his hate-filled, bigoted, anti-Semitic mouth. In his speech, Mr. Yousaf has said, across the world, people are coming together in unity and solidarity, except his people, of course. They don't. They don't come together in unity. They don't come together in solidarity. And he said, to take part in a deeply important event of commemoration and reflection. It has never been more important to remember the victims of the Holocaust and the genocides which follows. Which people, Humza Yousaf? Which people were the victims? Come on, you can say it. You can do it. You can say this and not be afraid of what the guys down the mosque will think of you, surely. But alas not, because old Kendall doesn't have the cojones to do that, does he? Can't upset them as down at the mosque. He said, today we remember the millions of lives cut short with the utmost cruelty and brutality. Is he talking about what the SNP did during the COVID pandemic? Oh no, millions, not tens of thousands. Sorry, my mistake. He went on to say the theme of this year's Holocaust Memorial Day was the fragility of freedom. Well, he'd know all about that, wouldn't he? Adding that it reminds us that freedom and dignity of every citizen relies on our willingness to defend each other's human rights and stand up against cruelty and violence everywhere in the world. Not something he's up for, is it? His lot of the ones that are causing a lot of the cruelty, for example, and all the other stuff. During the clip, which runs to almost 2 minutes, the SNP leader, and as I say, I'll put the link down below, the SNP leader is seen lighting a candle of remembrance and saying he wants to pay tribute to the survivors. And wait till you see his face as he's doing it. It's like, oh, look at me, my face of concern. Oh, he's just so cringe. He says, we must unite against hatred wherever we see it, no matter the perpetrator or the victim. Not something, again, that he agrees with. He does not like it. He hates Jews, but he won't admit it. Many people responded, accusing him of erasing Jews by not mentioning them as the specific victims of the Holocaust. Mr. Yousaf's wife, Nadia El Nakla, previously provoked controversy by comparing actions of the Jewish state of Israel to those of the National Socialists, when she accused its leaders of committing genocide against the Palestinian people in Gaza, which of course they have not. But then what do you expect from these hate-filled groups that absolutely loathe everything that is decent and right? They're barbarians. Basically, he's a barbarian. And he gives this pretending to care bullshit speech. And when you see his face, you can tell it is the most cringy load of bag of horseshit ever to come out of his mouth. It's offensive and it's wrong. But what can he do? He can't even form the word in his mouth. Coming up. He can't help himself though, can he? His hatred and bigotry will always come out because it's never far from the surface. You scratch him and all you see underneath is hate and loathing. Hate for Jews, hate for white people, hate for anyone who's not Muslims. And even then probably hate for half of the Muslims because they're all different types of Muslim. He probably hates them as well. I suspect there's people in his own family he loathes. But that's all he is. Little bag of hate, isn't he? But to do that and this cringe video, go and watch the video. It's only 2 minutes. It's awful. And it's like him. And just look at the facial expressions. He's trying his very best to be sincere. Like I say, it looks like he's shit his pants. Anyway, I shall stop there. Thank you very much for watching. Do please hit the subscribe button. That would massively help. Hit the like. Stay safe. Stay well. And I will speak to you later. Bye.